Paul Frank. Super excited to have him here. Met him in Puerto Rico, and the guy's a legend.
We love to have legends on. Yeah, great to have you. So guys, super excited about this presentation. For many years, I felt like EXP commercial is kind of an untapped thing. Like we're always talking about agent attraction, growing, an EXP revenue share and all these different things, but rarely do we actually, really focus on the commercial side. I feel like it's there. It's this thing, Veronica, I feel like it's like EXP commercial to me is kind of like the success brand. Like it is a stock waiting to blow up, like really huge. And if more people understood and knew about it, they would be growing, not only, their downline, but in our case, even our commercial division. So funny enough, recently I have somebody on this call, Dwayne's on, and met him the other day, and he's a commercial specialist. And I literally was like, he's like, dude, I'm already with the XP commercial. I'm like, great, come into our office. I'm like, let's build this commercial division, because I've been a big believer in teaching residential agents how to do commercial deals. I feel like that's a big blue ocean that nobody or very few people are tackling. So with all that being said, super excited to be co-hosting this with you, Veronica, to be introducing the CEO of the PDF Group powered by EXP Commercial. You're about to hear from somebody who has 4 decades of experience in the commercial space. When it comes to construction, when it comes to development, when it comes to property management. I don't know the stories you're going to tell, Paul, but I'm super excited to hear what you've got for us today. But just super excited to hear about your expertise and everything that you've built over your career, hear your story, and to inspire some of these agents, not only to do commercial, to learn commercial, but also to use it as an agent attraction tool, because I think that the platform at EXP Commercial is so incredible. If you talk to any commercial agent, you start talking to them about what we've got, they're like, oh, really? So without all that being said, I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Frank. Take it away, my friend.
Hey, great. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. All good.
Okay. I'm up in the mountains and had to come down to a spot to pick up a Wi-Fi because mine was not working. So, and I apologize for missing last month. Luckily, Veronica and Tony and I were in New York at the NASDAQ and couldn't give up that opportunity. So another huge benefit of this platform for sure. I'm going to share. Do I have sharing capability here? Yes, I do. Ooh. There we go. How's that look? You guys got that?
Yep. See that perfect.
Beautiful. Hey, before I forget, because I do tend to forget things, write this down. Brent Gove and I did a video, and we are going to be updating it again. And it's www. The Commercial Model Explained. Altogether, The Commercial Model Explained. And it goes over some of the benefits of commercial, but we're going to be updating it with this new tech package that we just implemented as well. So be ready to take notes. I am passionate about this little, what is that one? Cancel. Passionate about this topic with EXP Commercial. What I'm going to show you has the potential, and it's been proven to change your business and your life. It is going to be up to you, but this stuff, is simple as it may seem, is absolutely working, and we're seeing it work every single day. So with the show of hands, how many of you handle commercial transactions? Raise your hand. Beautiful. Okay. For those of you that did not raise your hand, that will be the last time you do not answer that question affirmatively. Moving forward, anytime.
Hey, and Paul, can I interrupt real quick, guys? Yeah. If Paul's going to help you guys grow your commercial business and help you make more money, how about if you can, unless you're absolutely can't,
she said, turn your cameras on. That's what she was saying.
Oh, beautiful.
I got you, Veronica.
Thank you, Veronica.
Your internet conked out on us, but I got you. So if you can, turn on your cameras, guys, and show as much energy as possible.
Beautiful. So every time that question is asked, and we're going to go over a little bit of scripting in a bit, but anytime that question is asked, you answer it affirmatively. Absolutely, we do. So before I get started, I am, why am I not forwarding now? Oh, there we go. So again, I'm here to teach you how to expand your business with commercial real estate. Before we get started, I'm going to give you a little bit of my background so you understand where I'm coming from. I'm the president, CEO of the PDF group of companies, and I've been a commercial real estate developer and broker and property manager and contractor for nearly 4 decades. Over that period of time, I have developed and brokered hundreds of millions of square feet of real estate covering every product class throughout the United States and internationally. Aside from my professional experience, I've also been an athlete and a coach most of my life. That's why you'll hear people refer to me as Coach or Coach Frank. It's not some title I just slapped on my business card for marketing purposes. I've also been a business coach and mentor for nearly as long. And it's that overall experience that has given me what Coach Dungy refers to as an uncommon perspective. And that perspective, unfortunately, has come through a lot of lessons, many of them very expensive lessons. But there are 2 lessons or 2 truths really that I want to share with you that are vitally important to everybody on this call. So the 2 truths are this: over my career, I have discovered that there's one thing that nearly every single person I have ever dealt with in commercial real estate has in common. Every single person, regardless of their position in commercial real estate as a syndicator, developer, owner, business owner, tenant, they all live in a house. And by virtue of that commonality, they have something else in common that is even more important to all of you. They have a relationship with you. They have a relationship with a residential realtor. And if you think this doesn't apply to you, you're absolutely wrong. I don't care if you've been in the business for 2 days or 50 years, as Tom Daves has been. Every single one of you has commercial opportunities and commercial relationships in your network. And those relationships are usually much more personal, much more intimate than what we achieve on the commercial side. You get invited to the weddings and the baby showers. We don't. And that is an enormous advantage. So the problem is that traditionally, you all have blinders on. You are absolutely focused on finding that 4-3 for your client or selling their listing that you have. It is if you're looking through the scope of a rifle at that target and you have what I refer to as peripheral deal vision. So that is my hope. That's my goal for you to help you take those blinders off and realize the amount of opportunities that are around you every single day and to show you how to act on those opportunities. Now, write this one down. CRE, commercial real estate, is not more complicated. It's just different. Write that down. Despite what the egos in this business will try to convince you of, it is not more complicated. In fact, I'm confident that all of you are capable of figuring out how to get through a commercial deal. I'm equally confident I'd be in way more trouble trying to handle a residential deal. All those MLS rules and disclosures, they scare the hell out of me. There is a reason that I have never sold a house in my life, and it's not because it's more complicated. And I'm going to give you an example outside of real estate to really try to drive this home. 2 of my buddies, Van is a neurosurgeon and Steve is an orthopedic surgeon. If you took Van and threw him into Steve's orthopedic operating room to do a knee replacement, Van would be in enormous trouble. But not because orthopedic surgery is more complicated than brain surgery. It's just different. Everybody's got their lane. So I've told you that you are capable of handling commercial deals. You do not want to. You absolutely, even if you've done it on your own in the past, you do not want to try to do it on your own. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why. I'm going to give you three briefly. Number one is the distraction. Commercial opportunities will come to you through your core business, residential real estate, through your core relationships in residential real estate. And the minute that you are distracted by trying to covet and figure out how to navigate this commercial opportunity on your own, there will be a price to pay for that distraction. And many times it is absolutely devastating. Number two are the CRE tools that we use. Commercial real estate is a pay-to-play proposition. If you are relying on the MLS or LoopNet to try to compete and represent in commercial real estate, you are going to get yourself in trouble. It is a matter of time. And number three, the big one, liability. If you mess up in residential real estate, your exposure may be thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. Commercial real estate is completely different. And to compound this, the law, and listen very carefully to this, the law assumes that everyone engaged in commercial real estate is an expert or has access to experts. We do not have the disclosures that you have that protect both the client and the broker. And I'll give you an example here, very unfortunate example. I consulted in a legal case in Los Angeles County where a long time, super successful Beverly Hills residential agent, insert reality show, decided to represent one of his best clients in the leasing of a retail furniture location, literally a box to sell couches out of, seemingly an easy deal. Well, this agent objectively did not know the difference between a double net, triple net, modified gross, full service lease, and every iteration in between. The lease was negotiated and signed. It was what we call proprietary, meaning it wasn't a form lease. It was drafted by a law firm. It was extremely long and complicated. It was like 60, 65 pages long. But remember, the law assumes everybody's an expert in this game. So the client took possession of the property only to find out that in addition to base rent, he owed $17,250 a month for 10 years for triple net reimbursement, property tax, insurance, common area, and maintenance. That's $17,250 for 120 months, way over a $2 million liability plus escalations. And the cherry on top was that the client, unbeknownst to him, was also responsible for the maintenance, repair, and replacement of the roof and HVAC. What I can tell you is that those types of mistakes are career-ending and life-changing, especially if your ICA and your E&O insurance don't allow you or even cover you for those transactions. So I told you what you don't want to do. Before I tell you what you do want to do, I want you to consider my why. Why am I here? I'm here because Veronica asked me to be here. I'm here because I'm passionate about EXP and what it has to offer for all of you. I don't have anything to sell you. I'm a coach at heart. It's in my DNA to help people. I don't have a QR code with 50% off some package. Don't get me wrong. If we work together or you work with my team in the future, that's great for all of us. But that is not why I'm here. What I'm going to show you, as simple as it may seem, absolutely works. And I promise has the potential to change your business and your life. So what to do? 6 steps or 6-step process to expanding your business in CRE. And again, This is going to seem really simple, but I guarantee you it will work. Number one, you're going to get a basic understanding of commercial real estate. This does not mean going and spending a bunch of money for some certification and getting initials after your name. That will do you no good. I have a 6-class series. I don't charge any money for it. If you connect with me, I'll get you hooked up with it. They're about 7-8 minutes a module. And I would argue that if you have an understanding of those topics, you will actually be ahead of a lot of people that make a living in commercial real estate. Number two, you are going to take the blinders off. You're going to start looking at your clients differently, past, present, future. You, your VA, your assistant are going to start mining your CRM, figuring out who in there owns businesses, owns commercial real estate, owns multifamily real estate. I absolutely guarantee you, every one of you have multiple opportunities in your CRMs. Number three, you are going to find a referral partner or build a referral team. And I say referral team because if you go to the globals, and by globals, I mean CBRE, Cushman, Colliers, Newmark, you will need a football roster of referral partners because those brokerages, believe it or not, isolate their agents by geography, deal structure, and property type. I suggest that you find a generalist. We can handle anything, anywhere for you. Important to selecting your referral partner is that they use what I refer to as team speak. We, not me. As I tell everybody that we work with, whatever I've done, we've done. Whatever I do, we do. Allowing you to incorporate that into a team narrative when you approach these opportunities is imperative. Number four, build your scripts. These are the non-threatening, non-obsequious questions and statements that will absolutely open the door to these opportunities. Number five, you are going to collaborate with your referral partner on an ongoing and proactive basis. As these opportunities present themselves, you will work with him or her to figure out how best to approach those opportunities. And number six, you're going to deploy your scripts. And this is what often intimidates people, but it is literally as simple as this. Let's say your assistant figures out your really good clients, Rob and Kim, actually own a bunch of commercial and multifamily properties. You had absolutely no idea. The next time you see them, you may say something like this. Hey, I was thinking about you guys the other day. My team and I were going over a bunch of our commercial and multifamily transactions. I'd love the opportunity for my team and I to help you with yours. You just blew the blinders off Rob and Kim because they never thought of you as a viable option to help them with their commercial transactions. So those are the 6 steps to expanding your business in commercial real estate, and they absolutely work. And I'm going to give you an example. Some of you may know Tom Daves. He was at an event that I was speaking at a couple of years ago, front row, taking copious notes as the greats do. Veronica knows better than I do. I've never sold a house, so I don't understand all this stuff, but he was like the #1 Keller Williams agent on the planet for 7 years in a row. Literally 2 days after attending one of my classes with Brent, he went to a listing appointment. And listen to this very carefully. It's very complicated. He went to a listing appointment 2 days later, got the listing signed, and for the first time in his 50-year career, he asked this question. Hey, you guys got any commercial properties you need help with? And their response was, well, yeah, Tom, we're actually thinking about selling one of our industrial buildings. Do you handle commercial real estate? And Tom responded, absolutely, we do. My team and I do a bunch of commercial real estate. Why don't you give me the address and we'll get our thoughts together and get back to you. 3 weeks later, we had that sold, listed and sold, and Tom got a referral check for, I think, about $24,000 simply for asking that question at a listing appointment, which, if you take anything away from this, every single listing appointment, you should be asking that question. Another gal that we just closed a deal with, I have yet to meet her. She heard me on one of Brent's podcasts. She was at a lunch in San Antonio, Texas on the Riverwalk. And the guy she was having lunch with was talking about a bunch of problems his dad was having with a transaction. She said, oh my gosh, you got to have him call Paul Frank. That referral, that was about $127,000 for asking or identifying that opportunity and forwarding it on. So this is very important, in my opinion. Agent attraction and agent retention. If you are building teams and building an organization, if you can show your agents a pathway to expanding their business in commercial real estate with little effort and distraction, those agents will come to you and they will not leave you. And this aspect, as we were talking about at the beginning, is a differentiator for EXP. I've been recruited by all those other copycat concepts. But the truth of the matter is that nobody has a commercial operation like EXP. And I would argue that there is no other brokerage on the planet that has as robust of a commercial roster at your fingertips as EXP and EXP Commercial does. So think about that for agent attraction and agent retention. What can you refer? Anything, anywhere. That includes lease or sale, owner, user, or investor, office, retail, industrial, land, multifamily, gas stations, hospitality, hotels, wineries, storage, and don't forget business opportunities. Business opportunities being the businesses within the real estate. So the goodwill and inventory of, say, a restaurant or a grocery store or a dental practice. You can also refer those opportunities as well. Commercial property management referrals, we do, and several others in the EXP community do as well. So, oh, that's right. One more time. How many of you, by a show of hands, handle commercial real estate? Oh my gosh. There you go, Lauren. Very good. Yes, Houston. Do you have a question?
No, sir.
Oh, you're raising your hand because you do.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I cannot emphasize this enough. We probably have and we do stuff on the development side and brokerage side nationally. I'm licensed in a whole bunch of different states beyond California. 85% of our transactions are based on referrals from primarily EXP, but we also have referrals from Keller Williams and all the other houses as well. But we are showing people how to expand their business in commercial real estate. And some people like Tom Daves and his team, they are just hammering it. They're sending us 5, 6 different leads, some of them significant opportunities every single week. And they're just incorporating it into their cold calling. Instead of just calling people and saying, hey, do you want to sell your house? They're adding in a couple scripts about commercial real estate and they are hammering it. So add that into your scripts. So anybody have any questions on that front?
Well, on that particular front, or are you
Anything on commercial?
Well, I think it'd be beneficial to kind of go over the basic structure of the commercial side, because I think we've got a lot of questions on, like, how do the splits work, the investment every month, what tools, because somebody on the call told me the other day. I mean, I remember when EXP commercial first came out and they were trying to negotiate a deal with CoStar, and then that didn't come to fruition, right? But they have all these other suite of tools. So what are the tools that they get? What's the investment? What are the splits? And let's go from there.
Yeah. Number one, be very careful what you quote. There is a lot of bad information. I'm on the NAAC, National Agent Advisory Council for commercial. But because of the internet, there's a lot of bad information that is floating around out there. So be sure, if you do present something, to make sure that it's up to date. And if you can partner, didn't you say Dwayne is on your team in here?
Yep.
With somebody that has a command and understanding of what that looks like, that is very, very important. I get Gene and Brent, and everybody sends me people all over the country to talk to, and I cannot emphasize enough how much bad information. And when you are providing, say, a team from CBRE information on this opportunity, if it's starting off with inconsistent information, it can be a problem. Our splits are 80-20 with a $20,000 cap as opposed to your $16,000 cap. From a tool perspective, as you were alluding to, CoStar was just added. We've been working on it for about 3 years. CoStar is a very, very difficult company to deal with. Our monthly fee is $500 a month. It just went up by the $250, but it is impossible, in my opinion, and this is not an endorsement of the platform. I've had significant problems with them over the years, but you can't really compete in commercial real estate without access to CoStar. It's like selling somebody a house using the newspaper instead of having MLS access. So it's a very, very important tool. So 80-20, 20 cap, and $500 a month, which in our world, a kid that I coached in football, he's over at Marcus and Millichap, and a lot of people don't understand this. Aside from the siloing of agents into, you are an industrial leasing agent south of this freeway and under 100,000 square feet, and if it's anything else, you can't touch it. I mean, it's in your world, it's like you can sell 4 3s in this zip code, but you can't sell a 3-2. It's crazy. But Dom's, he just cold called. He's with Marcus and Millichap. He cold called, got a deal. The commission, he did the whole deal, $2.5 million commission, and his cut of that was about $70,000 because he's an associate, which for the first 4 years, he's 5% of the 50 split with the team. So the ability to educate commercial agents regarding the opportunity in this platform is just incredible.
That's awesome. Real quick, is that construction going on in your background?
Yeah, are you picking that up?
Yeah, well, it's manageable. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like somebody on the call that we needed to shut down. But I figured it might be you. So in addition to CoStar, which I actually pay for that on my own right now, because so just so you guys know, guys, I do commercial, but I stay on the realty side because I still do a lot of income on the residential side, and I run a residential team. So that's something you can think about, because I know there's a lot of people that are thinking, okay, maybe I should jump over to the commercial side so I can get access to all of these tools. But you have to consider whether or not you're still keeping your residential business, correct, Paul?
Yeah, and this is another misnomer, is that the NAR, National Association of Realtors, has an all or none policy, right? So if the broker is a realtor, everybody has to be a realtor. So on your side of the ball, realty, everybody has to be a realtor and be a member of the Association of Realtors or the state association and all of that. On the commercial side, we cannot be realtors. So we cannot be a member of the National Association of Realtors, which then becomes a problem being a member and operating on the MLS, which how are you going to sell houses, at least for the time being, if you can't be a member of the MLS? So that's for the people that do crossover, it gets a little complicated in that arena. In my opinion, your pathway of having CoStar and supplementing your tools is an effective way. The one thing that I caution everybody is that your ICA prohibits you from doing commercial real estate without written approval before engaging. And what happens many times, in fact, Brent Gove called me a couple of years ago. One of his agents, Michelle, had a $40 million winery that she was selling in Santa Barbara, ready to close escrow, got all the way down, and compliance said, oh, hell no, you can't do this. So Brent called me. I was in Nashville, Tennessee, in the airport, and he said, what the hell do we do? They won't let her close it. I had to do a bunch of stuff and step in, but needless to say, and it was a double-ended $40 million transaction that was not going to get paid on. So, and that routinely happens getting down the road on the realty side that nobody notices. And then all of a sudden compliance to say, oh, hold on a second, there's, you didn't get approval for this. And it's very dependent upon your DMV in whatever state that you're operating in. Some of them are a little bit more lax. Some of them are very concerned about the exposure involved with people doing commercial that may not know all the ins and outs of it.
Interesting. I wonder if Florida is a little bit more lenient on that regard or not, but we can dive into that. And
you got it. Britt over there she's the state managing broker for commercial. She's great. We've done quite a bit of business in Florida.
So let's talk about the additional tools. So, and then we'll get into a specific question that one of the agents had. So what tools are included, and then kind of compare, Veronica was asking this, what do people traditionally pay at other brokerages so they can see, the people that go to the other traditional brokerages, what are the advantages they're getting? But tell me about the other tools, because I know we got build out and all these other things. So tell me a little bit about the tools we get and then what they do so they know what they're getting for their $500 a month investment.
Yeah. I'm going to cop out on that just a little bit because I'm on the NAAC and we've been there's a whole bunch of stuff that like CoStar that came out on February 4th that is changing things out. I have an NDA. Some of it I can't talk about. And honestly, I get a little confused about what is public and what isn't public because we keep getting these dates that it's going to be, delivered on January 1st. And then there's a 45-day delay but if you hit me up, I can get you the latest and greatest out of our side that details all of that. Because there are some pieces that may be going away and some pieces taking their place. But I will say this, that especially this edition of CoStar for the additional $250, so we're $500 a month. I was paying for a whole bunch of licenses at $500 a piece and then $450 a piece. And then they also considered me a developer. So they have a different pricing structure for us developers, and they were charging me, I think, $3,500 a month just for my membership on top of that. So this move to adding CoStar into EXP has been a huge benefit to everybody, and especially me. And it is a tool that now attracting commercial agents is a differentiator. If everything is included in that 500 instead of an independent membership for 500, which is an annual. You can't just sign up for 2 months and drop. It's a $6,000 commitment for the year. And this lovely company has sued the widows of brokers that died for the balance of their contract. They're that cutthroat. So it is a necessary evil in our world.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have a specific question. I got Houston on the call here. So Houston's currently with a commercial brokerage, and apparently they're covering some of his expenses, such as LoopNet listings and things like that. He doesn't have as attractive a split. I don't know. You didn't tell me this, Houston, but do you have a cap at your commercial real estate brokerage? He's responding right now.
We don't have a cap. We're 70-30 split. There's no cap. So it's 70-30 for all year long. The difference is, obviously we don't have revenue share like you guys, which is attractive to a lot of commercial agents, and some of the other perks. Just the difference is there's no cap. So he pays for all of our business expenses down to photos, business cards, any other prospecting software we need. He pays for everything. But we're always paying 70-30. We never get to 100 or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. I'll give you a little bit of my path real quick. I've had my own brokerage for 35 plus years. I've been recruited by CBRE, Cushman & Call, all of the big houses for years. Tried to sell me NAI franchises, SVN, all of that for decades. And I had my little PDF thing going with my initials, wanted nothing to do with it. Brent came to me about 8 years ago. And for 5 years, I politely told him to leave me the hell alone. In fact, over and over, I said, I am the last human being on the planet that's going to buy into this crap. You're better off spending your time with somebody else. I am the poster child owning my own brokerage, getting the 70-30 and thinking I got 100% of everything. I'm the poster child for not buying into this thing. It was the biggest mistake of my life to say no to Brent for 5 years. My opinion was 80-20 with a 20 cap. I'm 100% of everything. Why would I give anybody anything? 100% wrong. And in fact, that 80-20 I icon. So when you icon, you get your 20 back plus a bunch, which I still haven't figured out. But to say that this has been anything but spectacular for me and my team would be an absolute understatement. And when you add up that 30 in the tools and the community and the access that you get, Houston, with this, and understand whether you come or not has absolutely no bearing in my day. I'm going to go out and ski the rest of my day, or probably won't see you, but you need to take a very hard, long look and do the math, because I made a mistake for 5 years.
Yeah, and I think that it's two things, right? There's always, in the short game, you can make a case for, well, one, you're not winning on the math in the splits. Let's just say that, right? So let's just do the math on how many deals you do and how much an extra 10% and a cap would actually bring you versus the expenses that they pay for. So I think there's a math problem there that actually might already be in the favor. But let me just talk to you about generally the long game, right? And this is, by the way, for everybody on this call, it's not just EXP commercials, EXP, right? So if this is like an agent saying, well, why would I do that and I could go to 100% brokerage? Well, you could, but you're not going to, most people that have ever left our culture and gone to 100% brokerage, their production has gone down. Why is that? Because they only put the value on a commission split and not on the culture, not on the tools. EXP in itself, I believe that nobody talks about this. We're the world's largest real estate mastermind. We have compiled the best brains, the best energy, the best tools. And we happen to be run on, I believe, I have now one of the most innovative CEOs and executives that you could have. So in the short game, you might be like, okay, well, I got my LoopNet listing paid. But in the long game, when you're trying to grow something for financial freedom, if you don't have revenue share, you're going to have a tough time. If you're trying to grow financial freedom for the long game and you don't have stock in the company, you're not getting 20 grand every single year in stock in EXPI. You're not building for the long game. So that's the difference, Houston. Like most of the time, even when you're talking to a residential agent, is are you looking to be transactional? Is this a job for you, or are you a real estate entrepreneur who's looking for financial freedom? Because if you are, then this is the route you go. If not, I get it. You're going to find a way to make the math in the short game work. But as you know, life is a long game, and so is financial freedom. So that's what I would say to somebody who brought me that.
I'll tell you two of my epiphanies. One, I sold a shopping center, and my check was like I forget what it was, 357,000, I think. And this guy, Kurt, from one of the big houses, his check on the other side ended up on my desk open, totally awkward. And I said, hey, I called up Kurt. I said, hey, good news, bad news. Your check is on my desk and it's open. Bad news, where the hell did all your money go? It was $146,000. And he'd been in the business 35 years or so. And he kind of laughed. He said, yeah, we're on a 50-50 split. And then I got this team structure. And that's when I realized if Kurt was the last guy on this EXP bus and nobody else ever got on, the bus kept moving. It didn't require this constant inflow and growth, which was a huge mind shift for me. But for about a year and a half, I was, cautiously optimistic. I'd never been anything but my own boss and running my own brokerage. So answering to people and systems was unique to me. So Martha in my office handles all of our transactions, and she comes to me and she said, hey, I don't understand what these checks are. It's like $3,700 and $4,000 and $4,100, and there was no address associated with them, no transaction. And I thought, that's weird. So I went into the world and checked with accounting. I said, hey, I don't understand what these are for because there's no transaction or address on it. And she said, oh, that's your revenue share. And I was like, what? I didn't, unbeknownst to me, I was getting this revenue share in. And this is the huge wake up call for me. I'm a developer, like Dutch Bros Coffee, for example. I do their projects all over the place. And one of my Dutch Bros Cinnabon Annie Ann's that I had just completed took me 4.5 years to complete, have $1 million+ into it, owe the bank a couple $1 million. And I'm positive like $8,000 a month on that project, which is great. But I owe the bank money and I've got all these problems. And immediately I'm like, okay, wait a second. I'm getting 8,000 a month from this just nightmare of 4.5 years of risk and work. And I'm getting half as much over here. I didn't even know I was doing anything. And I'm have no employees. I have no bank loans. I have no obligation to anybody. And that was like my wake up call that I ought to spend a little more time over in this other lane.
Yeah, and it's funny because as you're talking, in the investment space, when you make a return without any money out of your pocket, they call it an infinite return. That's what they call an infinite return. That means that you didn't take any money out of your pocket, but you're making a return. And essentially that's revenue share. Like Jay Kinder was on a call the other day and he's like, man, he's like, I lived in Puerto Rico for all these years. And he's like, I'm around like really wealthy guys, like, and girls, like people who have made sick amounts of money with their companies, crypto, whatever it is. He goes, and every time I explain to them the EXP model, they're like salivating. They're like, you guys got what? Like, that's one of the craziest things that I've ever heard. And he goes, it kind of reignited him. It was like, wow, these people think this is genius, right? People who are actually billionaires, millionaires, or think that what we've got is genius. So just something to think about. Paul, real quick, I wanted to ask somebody, I think I kind of want to know this too. In case somebody's working a commercial deal right now and needs to get approval, who do they go to for that? If they're on the residential.
Your DMB.
Okay. So the manager.
Your managing broker. Just rip the Band-Aid off and tell them what you're doing, because it is just heartbreaking to see people hit that wall and not get paid.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, my Tennessee license lapsed, same kind of thing, because I mean, if you're not compliant, you're not compliant. I did a deal in Tennessee, and I think I had $35,000 or something sitting there. My license lapsed, didn't get paid. So wow. Take care of business, be upfront with the DMBs and just tell them what you're engaging in, and make sure you got their blessing.
Good stuff. Let's see what else. So as far as recruitment, so make it clear, residential agents can also recruit commercial agents, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And so vice versa. I mean, most of the agents in my organization are residential agents.
Oh, that's interesting. So tell me a little bit about how many people do you have in your organization?
I've got a bunch of, I don't know, I don't want to, I don't know. 100 and something.
100 something. So out of curiosity, what has been your strategy, since you're like a purely commercial guy? How were you able to connect with residential agents? Was it through the referral systems? Was it, and then how should a residential agent learn how to connect? The same way you had them ask that question in the listing appointment, how can they connect with some commercial agents and start bringing them into the fold?
Yeah, mine has been just organic. On the commercial side, I'm not the guy that goes and pushes it, or haven't been. I'm getting a little more active in it, because Brent's beat me up a little bit on it. But most of it's been organic, especially on the commercial side. Like Tom Bacon came to my team and we did a transaction, and he said, "Hey, what's this EXP thing?" And then I explained it to him, and he's like, "You got to be kidding me." And he'd been in the game at all the big houses forever, so his perspective was, he understood the significance of this change. But yeah, mine's the thing that does resonate is what we were talking about. When we show residential agents how to identify commercial opportunities and get these big checks simply by identifying, say, hey, you need to call Steve or John or Gwen or whoever, that's a differentiator, because they don't have those tools and those opportunities if they're, for the most part, at Remax and Keller Williams and the other houses. That integration and showing them how to expand their business has been a very successful strategy, just kind of organically. They want to be a part of it.
So let's wrap up and tell the folks how they can, partner with you. So I see a QR code that's been kind of on the screen the whole time, but like, if somebody wants to partner with you on a commercial deal, what's the best way for that to go down?
Yeah, just email me. Also, if you are recruiting commercial agents, like I said, everybody tends to send in the fourth quarter their recruit to me, because I explain my path, and having my own brokerage and being the guy that said no forever. It's really hard for somebody that's even been at CBRE for 25 years to argue with me, just because of my experience owning my own brokerage and development and all of that stuff. It's plus, as I said to Houston, I have these conversations and spend all this time on the phone with these people, and there's no benefit to me at all. I'm just trying to help people, help agents grow, and then help that commercial agent make the right decision and not follow my path of denying the efficacy of the model for so long.
Amazing. One final question. from Lauren Learns, how do they get access to that free course that you said you offer?
Yeah, just do the little QR code deal, and they'll hook you up with it. There's no paywall or spam or anything. It's housed on, I think, School is where they put it, and they're literally like 7-8 minutes a pop, and they will give you a base understanding of commercial real estate. All you need to competently navigate in the stuff that you'll run into.
Fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Lauren, I put my, here, I'll do it one more time. You all can just email, did that go? Whoops, EEE. That's supposed to be my email address when I do it 4 times. There we go. It didn't do it again. Okay. I'm going to give you my email address. If the QR code doesn't work, feel free to email me. Again, it's paul@pdf-usa.com. And then I'll just make sure you get hooked up with it.
Yep. And I scanned the QR code, and that takes you to digital card. So I got all your info. Make sure you guys get his info. Guys, this has been amazing. Like I said, I'm super excited. I think commercial real estate's a blue ocean. Got a chance to not only expand your business, make extra income, but also start to attract commercial agents to organization and build that passive residual income. Paul, thank you so much once again for your time, for blessing the Global Alliance and the Gap Mastermind. And I hope to see you soon, man, at an event.
You bet. Take care. Thanks for your time. See ya.
All right, everyone. Take care.